Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show with certified financial fiduciary Tim Wood.
This is all about helping people. That is why I am so passionate about this, because it's literally getting up every day and helping people plan for the rest of their lives. Make a plan, because I promise you're going to sleep better.
Tim is a retirement and income planning expert, best-selling author, and the founder of SafeMoneyRetirement.com. Tim focuses on wealth management, retirement income, tax and long-term care planning, and so much more.
Let's sit down. Let's make sure we have got a holistic plan. We're not just looking at one thing.
And now, the Safe Money Retirement Show with Tim Wood.
Welcome into the Safe Money Retirement Show alongside Tim Wood. He's the president and founder of Safe Money Retirement. My name's Kevin McAlpin. We appreciate you being with us here on the show, talking all things retirement. First things first, we say hello to the man of the hour and, of course, the star of the show, my buddy Tim Wood. Tim, great to be with you today. How are you, my friend?
Kevin, I'm doing fantastic, brother. Glad to be here, and I'm excited about this new format and what it's going to mean for the show moving forward. So welcome to you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here with you. Obviously, this is a little bit different than what our listeners are accustomed to, but you're not a new name. You're not a new face for folks here that have tuned in for such a long time. So for our listeners, I actually had a chance the last 13 years to work in baseball with the Braves Radio Network. So some folks listening today might go, wait, that guy kind of sounds a little familiar, but it's a whole new world for me. So not only looking forward to working with you and doing the show, but I'm also looking forward to learning a few things along the way, just like our listeners are. So I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat as a lot of folks tuned in here today.
Okay, great. Well, then let's get rocking.
Yeah, let's do it. Warren Buffett, certainly a name that's familiar to a lot of our listeners here today. The 93-year-old Warren Buffett, well, he has recently updated his will. Now, that will now calls for the remainder of his wealth to be left to a new charitable trust that's going to be overseen by his daughter and his two sons. Now, this might give some folks out there the impression that legacy and estate planning is only for the rich. But how would you respond to that? Is that accurate, or is this something that a lot of our listeners should really have as top of mind?
That is absolutely something that a lot of our listeners should have, but does everybody need an estate plan? Absolutely not. It's on a case-by-case basis, just like people have heard me say for years. That's why we sit down with each person individually. But are there situations where you absolutely need an estate plan? 100%. So it's something that you need to sit down with a certified financial fiduciary yourself and find out whether an estate plan makes sense. But yeah, in a lot of cases it does, but in some cases it doesn't. So, I mean, there's certainly no one size fits all, just like for retirement, there's no one size fits all. But yeah, absolutely, it makes sense in a lot of cases.
Let's talk about that initial sit down, right? Because a lot of our listeners, they've never dealt with a financial advisor. I read a story here recently that only 15% of folks that were surveyed actually said they planned on utilizing the help of someone like yourself. So for that 85% that might say, I can do this on my own, I can figure out all the tax implications and all the different components I need to have in a plan, what would you say to those listeners who maybe never have dealt with someone like you?
Well, the first thing I would say is, on YouTube, you can learn to do just about anything. So let's say you had issues and you needed to do a surgery on yourself. Well, you probably could find how to do that on YouTube these days. I mean, honest to God, you probably could. But is that going to be the smartest for you?
Right.
You need to be with someone that's an expert. And what separates safe money retirement, people have heard me talk about this for years, is regular financial planners are fantastic. They're great during the accumulation phase, which is what we've been in our entire lives, gather as many nuts as we can, we can, because sooner or later winter's coming. Mm-hmm. Well, when you're making that transition from the acquisition phase to the distribution phase, that's when you go from a traditional financial planner to a retirement planner, which is specifically what we do. So can someone do it on their own? Technically, yes, they could. But are they going to have access to all of the plans? Absolutely not. So that would be what I would say is it always makes sense to sit down with someone and make a plan. You're going to hear me, Kevin, you will hear me say make a plan 800 times in every show. Make a plan. Yeah. Whether it's with me or it doesn't have to be with me. That's another big thing. It doesn't have to be with me, but get with someone that is independent, that is a certified financial fiduciary, and that is a retirement planning expert. And make sure you have got a solid plan. As far as that first appointment, one of the things that separates us on our first appointment, I am never going to talk about companies. I am never going to talk about rates. I am never going to try to sell you or get you into anything because I have no clue what you need. That first appointment is all about the client. Where are you at? What's the overall big picture? What's your social going to be when you turn it on, or what is it already? What are your expenses? What do you have in assets? Do you have life insurance? What about long-term care? What about properties? We're going to look at everything and come up with, by the end of that appointment, the goal is come up with what we need to search for you, whether it's an income plan, whether it's a growth plan, whatever it is, figure out what we need to search for you. And then since we're totally independent, we search for everything in your state that's available. And then we'll get back together on a second appointment and basically go over what we found.
If a guy like Warren Buffett, who's 93 years old, is updating his will, I think there's a lot of folks out there that say retirement planning, yeah, I've done it. I put a plan together. I did it 5-10 years ago. But doesn't this go to prove that retirement planning, Tim, is not a set it and forget it type situation? These are things that constantly should be reevaluated and updated the older we get?
Absolutely. And I've even got people that were my clients 3-4 years ago that we have moved on to different plans that worked with me 3 or 4 years ago because rates change, new plans come out, laws change. I mean, as we know, Secure 2.0 changed a lot of things. So, when things change, that's when we need to, in football terms, call an audible and be able to make a change right then and there and make sure that we stay on track. Which is, as you know, that's one of the reasons that we do an annual review with every single client every single year. Even if there's not anything to reallocate or really change in their plan, something might have changed.
Right.
Something on your beneficiary form might have changed or something. We just want to make sure every single year moving forward, even after the plans are in place, if there's anything that needs to be changed, that we can. And that's exactly what he's doing. I mean, he's seeing what's happening in the markets. He's seeing what's happening in the world. He's seeing that he's getting older and we all don't have an unlimited amount of time. And he's kind of making those plans based on where he is. Would he have done that 20 years ago? Heck no. But now he's 93. He's not 73. It's a totally different ballgame.
If you put a plan together years ago, you'd like to sit down with somebody, maybe have that second opinion, maybe have that voice that can help you, obviously reevaluate where you are at this stage in life. Pick up the phone. Give Tim Wood and his team with Safe Money Retirement a call today. That number is 800-913-SAFE. Again, 800-913-7233. Or if you prefer, you can contact Tim at his website. It's safemoneyretirement.com. Again, that's safemoneyretirement.com. Well, Tim, I've got a couple of young kids. I've got a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I can confirm a lot of what's in this next story that I want to discuss with you because it sounds like vacation and long trips in the car haven't changed much over the years. A new survey by Talker Research shows that in a 7-hour car ride, you're going to have 18 sibling fights, 14 tantrums, and 22 are we there yet? Now, Tim, I recently took the kids on a road trip down to Florida to see my in-laws. I think we got 22 are we there yet before we left my neighborhood. I'm like, guys, we got 7 hours to go. It's a long, long trip. But the reason I bring it up is you're going to have a lot of unexpected things you encounter on these long road trips, and much like you're going to have unexpected things pop up in your retirement. So, Tim, let's talk about when it comes to taxes. What are some of the big unexpected tax issues that can arise, whether we're nearing retirement, whether we're in retirement, that really can be planned for well ahead of time?
Well, there's a few that come to mind. The first one, and most people have heard about RMDs, those dreaded required minimum distributions. But a lot of people aren't prepared. They don't realize, again, going back to what we were saying, that in the acquisition phase, of course, we wanted to put money in before taxes because that's great. It's just going to grow and grow and grow, and we don't have to worry about it, and we'll pay taxes later. Well, guess what? Later's here. That RMD, it's kind of almost like a tax bomb. It's basically, if you've got all of your money in pre-tax retirement accounts, whether it's a 401k, 401a, 403b, TSP, whatever it is, when you withdraw that money, you've got to pay all the taxes, or if you decide not to withdraw it and you just wait for RMDs, you're going to have to start paying the taxes when RMDs hit. And based on your age, that's either going to be at 73 or 75. And that's something that we can discuss personally. But being prepared for that and not just letting it happen and, okay, well, I know the government's going to take its part. There's things you can do. There are things called Roth conversions that people have heard me talk about for years that might make sense for you. Does it for everybody? Absolutely not. Does it for a lot of people? You better believe it. Do I do it a lot? Absolutely, because you're taking care of the taxes now at the historically low rates that President Trump just extended, but we don't know how long that's going to be for, right? We're pretty sure it's going to be for another 3 years, but what's going to happen when the next guy comes in, or woman? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what's going to happen when the next person comes in. So making sure that we can take care of that now and preparing for RMDs, or totally taking care of all the tax now so you don't even have to worry about RMDs. Because if you take care of all that pre-tax now and get it converted, you don't even have RMDs. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the first big things is RMDs. The second thing is, and this is honest to God, this is one of my biggest pet peeves, and people have heard me talk about this for years, Social Security, which we paid taxes for our whole life to get. If you make too much money while you're getting Social Security before your full retirement age, guess what? They tax you on it. Mm-hmm. And it can be up to 85% of that Social Security based on how much you get in income. People have no clue about that. So I can't tell you how many people have come in here and, oh, I'm supposed to get this for Social Security, but now I'm getting it. You need to know what the rules are. And that's why you need to sit down with someone that knows the rules and can help you make a plan. Because maybe it makes sense to wait and defer Social Security and not turn it on if you're still working, because then you don't have to worry about it and you're getting the guaranteed roll up in Social Security. Listen, Social Security is nothing more than a government annuity. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. The later you wait to turn it on, the more it's going to pay you for the rest of your life. Sound familiar? It's what I've been preaching for years. So being prepared and knowing what you're going to do, and if you are going to work and they are going to tax it, be prepared for that. Know that if you're going to turn it on and you're making over X dollars, they're going to tax it. So that's the second thing. The third thing, and this is a little smaller of an issue, but it's still there, and that's selling assets and then capital gains that go along with selling the assets. But I don't want to go deep into that because it's a very individual thing. Depending on how we do it and what we do, there's some things that we can do to get around a little bit of that, but sometimes you still got to take care of it. The whole goal is, again, making sure all those unexpected things like on the trip, there's going to be a ton of unexpected things in retirement. Let's sit down. Let's make sure we have got a holistic plan. We're not just looking at one thing. We are literally looking at your retirement, and we're not looking for the next 5 years either. If you are 65, we're going to be talking about the next 20, 30, maybe 40 years because of advances in medicine. You could be here till 105. Mm-hmm. Well, are you prepared? That kind of a thing. We need to make sure that you're prepared and make sure that we've got a long-term plan so any of those unexpected things we can take care of.
If you'd like more details on how to put that holistic plan together, look no further than Tim Wood and his team with Safe Money Retirement. They are here to help. And folks, they are just a phone call away. Tim and his team, they can help you safeguard your investments while still participating in market growth opportunities. He'll also give you the peace of mind to know your hard-earned retirement is protected against market losses while still having an opportunity to benefit from those market gains. 800-913-SAFE. Again, that number, folks, is 800-913-7233. Or you can always contact him right there through the website. It's safemoneyretirement.com. Again, safemoneyretirement.com. Well, Tim, we are quickly running out of time on today's show. It has absolutely been a blast. But before we say goodbye, I'd love to leave the floor all yours today for the final word.
Thanks, Kevin. Well, first, again, I want to thank you for being part of the show. I really look forward to our partnership moving forward. I think it's really going to enhance what the listeners learn and hear, just being able to talk back and forth. So thank you very much for being here. It's awesome. Looking forward to moving forward with you. If y'all have heard anything today that really makes sense to you as you've been listening to the show, Yeah, you need some income. You need to know you've got enough income. Yeah, you want to make sure that you don't lose anything to the next major market crash. Yeah, you want to make sure what happens when you're gone. Do you need an estate plan like we were talking earlier, or do you not? Do you just, whatever? If any of that has raised curiosity in you, that's why you should give us a call. You need to reach out. We can send you a free copy of my book. It will explain who I am. It will explain why I do what I do. It's also got a whole section in the back of the book. It's what I call case files of 20 stories of clients that came in. Here's what happened to them. Here was their situation, and here's how we resolved it. So getting that information will allow you to kind of get to know us before we even meet. And like we discussed, that first appointment, never going to be anything salesy. It's just going to be about you. What do you need? Do we need to look for anything for you, or are you already on the right path? Just make sure you have got a plan, because you don't get a second chance in retirement.
The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Obviously, by contacting us now, you are only taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified, licensed insurance professional. It is important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Interest and other guarantees in annuity contracts are subject to the claims-paying ability of the insurance carrier that issued the contract. The tax consequences of annuity income should be considered with the help of a licensed tax professional. Rates and returns mentioned on this program may vary based on state availability and are subject to change without notice.